Hello everyone, in this video we will learn how to skip the files that are already processed using the ADF pipeline. My scenario is I received 4 files every day in a storage account or shared location. We will implement an ADF pipeline to process these files and load them into the table. The task is scheduled to execute daily at 8 am. Okay, and here I have two cases. The case 1. There are few situations where 2 files were delayed and arrived at 8 am, causing my pipeline to run with only the 2 files that are available. I want to execute the pipeline again to process the delayed files. Now I have 4 files in my storage account, 2 are already processed and 2 are new. I want the pipeline to ignore the processed files and only handle the new ones. And coming to case 2, in another instance where I have successfully processed the 4 files, later I received one of the same file with the new data. I want to execute the pipeline again to process only the file that has changed. We can achieve this by creating a configuration table that tracks the processed files. Let's say we have a table processed file config. It has a 3 columns: file name, process date and reload flag. The file name is to maintain the name of the files, and the process date is used to store when the file was processed. And the reload flag, this flag will indicate if a file is processed or not. If the reload flag is 0 means it is processed. If it is 1 means it is not processed. After processing every file, we should update the configuration table to indicate that the file has been processed. For that, we need a store procedure. Okay, next we have the procedure update process file. It will check if the file has processed today. If file is not processed, it will insert entry into the table. If the file is already processed, it updates the reload flag. Storage account, we have some files and want to load these files into the table every day. This file contains store cells by each region. We will create a table called store cells to load these files and set up a pipeline to put the data into this table. Okay, let's implement this practically. Okay, let's create these tables. First we'll create file config table, copying the script, go to Azure SQL database, take a new query, create. Okay, this table got created. Let's create the procedure. Okay, let's create this procedure. Okay, it got created. Let's verify. We got file config table and we have the update processed file procedure, and we'll create one more table, store cells table, to store the file info. Okay, the table got created. Let's go to the storage account and we'll verify the files. Okay, this is my storage account and I have 3 files: east region sales, north region sales and south region sales. Okay, first we'll handle these files and we'll add one more file and we'll see how our process will work. Okay, we'll create one pipeline. Okay, first we need get metadata activity to get the list of files. So we'll add get metadata activity. We'll name it metadata. Go to settings. We'll create a new data set pointing to the storage account. select storage account, continue, select files, okay. I'm using the existing linked service. We can also create the new one. Browse, select the source folder where I have the files, click OK, and next select none. We are not doing anything with the import schema, so select none, click OK, and in the field list, so we need the list of files. Select child items, it will give the list of the files. Next, we need a for loop through each of the file. We'll take for each loop, connect this, we'll name it for each file. For each file, go to settings, I will go sequential. In items, add dynamic content, get metadata child activities, click OK. Okay, so now we have get metadata to find list of files, and we have for each loop to loop through each file. Next, we need to build the condition to see like if the file is processed or not. So go to for each loop, okay. Before processing each file, we need to check if the file has been processed today or not. For that, we will use lookup activity. Okay, go to settings. So we need to write a query to check if the file is processed or not in the current day, and we also need to verify the reload flag. If reload flag equal to 0 and the file process date is today's date, means like the file got processed, otherwise it is not processed. So we'll build a query. Okay, currently we don't have any files, the table is empty, and we'll also pass the file name here. Okay, go to ADF, we'll create one data set pointing to Azure database. Using the existing linked service pointing to SQL database. I don't select any table, I will write manual SQL. So select none, import schema, select none, click OK. In the use query property, select query, and we need to write a dynamic query. So I already have a query. Okay, so basically it will check the processed file config table, and it will look for the current date, a process date equal to current date, and read flag equal to 0, and it is look for the file name. We are passing the file name for each activity, from for each activity. Okay, and if there is an entry, it will give the value as 1, otherwise it gives a value as 0. Click OK. Okay, next to verify the whether the file exists or not, we need an if condition. And we need to write an expression files. Okay, this condition checks if the count is 0. If the count is 0 means the files are processed today. If the count is 1 means the files are not processed. It will take the input from the lookup activity and it will compare with the 0. Okay, if there is a like previously in the lookup activity we are using the query, right, to get the flag. If it is processed, it will return as a 1, otherwise it will return 0. Okay, click OK. Okay, so if the condition is true, then we'll use the copy activity to process the files. Use a copy activity, copy data, source. I'm create one more data set, text files, ts underscore files, using the existing linked service, file path, browse, go to source folder, click OK. Afterwards, we'll parameterize this connection to pass the file name dynamically. Click OK. Import schema none. Click OK and go to sync and we'll use the existing data set. It is already pointing to SQL database. Select this. Click open and select the table. Store cells. This is our table. Okay. Go to the pipeline again and go to source. We need the file name, right? So for that I will create additional column, like file name, and in the value select the file name. Okay, go to mappings, import schema. Okay, map the columns, store name, unit sold, unit price, total sales, sale date. Okay, just a warning, ignore it. Okay, and go to source again. So now we have to parameterize the file name, otherwise every time it will load all the files. Let's parameterize the file name. Go to source dataset again, open, I'll create one parameter and p underscore file name, and go to connections, under file path, in the file name add a dynamic content, select the parameter name. We'll get the value for this parameter from the for each activity. Click OK and go to pipeline. Then we'll see the p underscore file name parameter. We need to pass the value, so click on dynamic content and we have to pass it from the for each activity at the rate item dot item bracket open dot name. Okay, click OK. Okay, this copy data activity will read the file from storage accounts and loads into the table. After this is done, then we need to update the stored procedure. So take the stored procedure, select this 6 settings, using the existing linked service, and select the procedure like update processed files. Okay, import. Basically this procedure has two parameters, one is a file name and reload flag. So file name will pass it from the for each item, the rate item dot name, click OK. Let's make it small letters. Okay, and reload flag. After this file gets successfully processed, we can pass 0. 0 means it processed successfully. 1 means it was not processed. Okay, condition is true, it will go into the true block and it loads the data from files to table. Okay, if it is a false, nothing to do, just put a wait and write file d. Just 1 second is fine. There's nothing to do with the false condition. Okay, go to for each loop. And one more important property, so select the lookup and go to settings. Make sure to uncheck the first row only. This is important. Okay, let's validate it. Let's publish. See that this table is empty now and this table is also empty now. Let's debug the pipeline. We'll see. Okay, now pipeline got succeeded. Okay, let's verify the tables. Okay, let's run this query. Yeah, see, now data got populated. Let's check one more thing. Okay, each file has a 5 records and it got populated. Let's verify the config table. Okay, now we'll see the entry for each file, the file name, and when it is processed, and the reload flag as 0 means it's processed. Okay, now so we already processed these files. If we run the pipeline again, it should not load the data again. Okay, let's run the pipeline again. Okay, pipeline got completed. If you notice, like we are not reading any of the file. Let's verify the data. So there is a no change and the count remains same. Okay, now we'll see next scenario, like adding an extra file. Let's add one more file. Okay, now we have file West Sales. Let's run the pipeline. Okay, the pipeline got completed. If you noticed, we have one copy data activity and 3 file already processed activities, means we are skipping the already processed files. So the copy data activity, let's check the lookup. So we processed for the westsales.csv file. This is the new file which we added. Okay, let's verify the data. Go to database. Let's check the counts. Okay, now we'll see westsales.csv, and it has 5 records. Okay, and we'll go check the processed files. Okay, now we'll have another file. Okay, okay. Next, consider that there was some changes in one of the file east underscore sales.csv, and we want to run only that file. Okay, so for that we need to manually update the entry in this table. For the east sales.csv, we need to change the reload flag to 1. So either you can change it manually, or you can do it through the stored procedure, or you can create a ad hoc job to run manually, and you can parameterize the file names and reload flag. I will. Okay, okay, one row affected. Let's verify the table. Okay, now I changed the reload flag for the east sales.csv. So when I run the pipeline, it should process this file again, only this file. Okay, and also verify the count, and we have 5 records in each file. Let's run the pipeline again. Okay, pipeline got succeeded. This time we have 4 files in the storage account, and we see 3 files are skipped and 1 file got loaded. Let's verify what file is loaded. Okay, we loaded for east sales.csv. Okay, this is as expected. Let's verify the data. Go to this. Now we see the 10 records for this. Okay, because we processed it multiple times. Okay, okay, this is fine. Let's go and verify that table. Okay, again we change the flag to 0. Yep, this approach gives an efficient way to manage file processing in ADF. It ensures that each file is processed only once daily, while also accommodating multiple unique files with different data. If you want more details or have any questions, feel free to reach out me. Thanks for watching. Bye. Take care.